Alright, let's take a look at solving an equation that looks like ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Okay? And before we can actually kind of solve this, we need to actually factor it. So we need to go back to factoring trinomials. So when we're factoring a trinomial in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, I want to first write down my coefficients and my constants. A here is 1, b here is -9, and c here is positive 14. And you want two numbers that multiply to AC, which is positive 14, that add up to b, which is -9. So two numbers that multiply to 14 that add up to -9. And just off the bat, I can think of -7 and -2. What you do with these two numbers is you replace your middle term, right? Remember that these are coefficients, so I'm going to replace my middle term, which is -9x. As a sum of these two coefficients, I'm going to use -7x minus 2x. Okay? Then I basically will substitute this back into my equation. So now we get x squared minus 7x minus 2x plus 14 is equal to 0. And then I'm going to factor out the first two and the last two. I'm going to factor out the greatest common factor. So you get x minus 7. I'm going to factor out -2. You get x minus 7 is equal to 0. Now you can notice here that these two inner factors are the same. So now we can factor by grouping. We get x minus 2 times x minus 7 is equal to 0. And now what we can do here is we can solve for x. And the way we're going to solve for x, we know that the whole point of this equation is that we want to make the left side equal to the right side. Well, we know that anything times 0 is going to give us 0. So we're going to let each factor equals 0 to find a value of x that makes each factor 0. So I'm going to let x minus 2 equals 0, so therefore x is equal to 2. And I'm going to let x minus 7 equals 0, and therefore x is equal to 7. So my two solutions here are x is equal to 2 and 7. And if you plug this into your equation, you can see that it will satisfy the equation.